Good day and welcome to a demonstration of the Scholarzon, a project by AppNet Consult Limited. This is a school management system that manages the student information and handles their fee billing and payment processes. It also handles certain features that the company has thought necessary for the school system and for basic school institutions in Ghana and in other nations. And so this is a project that we are coming to demonstrate. Now it's a web service that has been hosted, and so you will need to have internet access to have access to it. And so you provide your username and then your password. We are entering the school system. We have the HRM, you have the accounting system, you also have the student portal, all of which we will talk about later. But this is the dashboard of the school system. We call it the Scholarzon, or the modules put together is called the Scholarzon. And there's one module of it called the school system. And on the dashboard of the school system, we give you the summary of activity that is going on in the system, the number of classes that has been created, the number of SMSs sent. The system gives you the ability, or provides the ability to send SMSs to inform parents and wards and staff. So the number of SMSs that you've sent during the period will be shown here. As time moves on, it will be increasing as and when you send them. The number of departments that are in your school then have been created. The number of students that are currently on the system, or the system is being used to manage. And the dashboard also shows you averages for the first term, for the second term, and for the third term. And then finally, for an academic year, the total average of performance for all classes put together. That shows you here. We give you a graphical representation of that statistics. We give you a graphical representation of that statistics as well by providing the first term averages, the averages for the terms, and then the total class average for the year. So that's shown with a pop-up showing you the real-time marks or averages in figures as well. So that's the dashboard for the school system. Now, before you start anything in the system, you go to the settings. When the system is created, you go to the settings where you can edit stuff. You can edit your school's name and other information about the school. You can upload a signature to sign us reports. You can upload your own logo. The background can be changed as well. Your departments can be created using the departments. You can add a new one if you wish to. The grading system for each department. So on the click of it, you load for that department and make the appropriate changes by clicking on the edit. So for all the departments, you can make changes accordingly. And then the classes that has been created in the system, you can add a new one if you so wish. And then their corresponding departments are all shown here. Let's start with the student data. After adding our classes and adding all our departments and our classes, we can now add our students. And for each class that has been created, you can add your students. We have an Excel. Now you add the students by entering them through an Excel, which can be downloaded and imported to add your students. Okay, so that's one of 24, the second of 24 students, and then other details of the students. Their basic details. Let me go to the other students. Okay, so on the students, we have their basic data. Okay, their basic details, their fee paying or non-fee paying status, the fees they owe, the amounts paid, and everything. In real time, they will be changing as and when more fees are paid. And then the subjects they've been registered for that term. Then to the other details, the parents and other information that is necessary to the school can also be added. Okay. Now, so for each class, you can add your students and then move on. Let's go to subjects. This is where we add subjects that are being done in the school to the system. Now this is an overview, or this is a master subject table that shows all subjects that are done in the school. So you can add to a class for a particular term, second, first, third, and then you can add them to the classes appropriately. So for each class, you add the subjects for each term as well. On the mark section, you can select a class and then enter marks for each subject that the class is registered for. So for this class, they are registered for English language, environmental studies up to very technical skills. And then you can add your 30, 70, or their marks breakdown. It can be based on, depending on the school, it can be 50, 50, 40, 60, 30, 70, or whatever the grading. As far as it amounts to 100%, you can change the breakdown as well. So for each, by clicking on the subject, it loads for you to enter your marks. You can also appropriately download an Excel sheet. You print an empty mark sheet by exporting all your subjects to Excel. Okay, so this, you can choose to export one or more. You export. Okay, so let's open, and then so our marks are exported with our student data. Our subjects are exported with our student data so that we can enter the marks and import later on. So all the students for English language, for environmental studies, for French, and for all the other subjects that we selected, the students are exported. We can enter their score breakdowns and import them to get the system, to get the marks into the system. Now let's go to the fee SMS. Now let's come to our fees menu. And on the fees menu, we can set fees. We have the option of setting fees for an academic year. Let's say this academic year, and for these classes, for the third term, we'll select the number of items that we want to set for. And then we'll select the status of the student, whether a day or border student, and then the currency that we are setting the fees in. We enter the fees items and their corresponding values, we set fees. The fees will apply to all those classes that we've selected for that term. Now for fee payment, we can select a student by typing their surname or a search item. The students that are in the system will appear, and then we can select the particular student we want to pay the fees for. And then, so this student owes an amount of 8,053 cedis. The transactions so far of fee payments are recorded here. You also can make another transaction by adding a payment, selecting a kind of payment, whether cash, check, bank draft, or order, or any other. The status is selected. So you enter the payment details. It can be fees. You enter the parent's number, which is pre-selected from the student's data that we added, but we can change the number as well in the case that we want the SMS to go to a particular parent. You enter the amount that the student is paying. Now this student is owing 8,000 and is paying 1,000 in Ghana cedis. You select the dates. It's a calendar form. You enter the payment, and then your receipt is generated for you. It can be printed and stamped as an official receipt for parents. The one who received the payment will be entered here. An SMS will also be received by the parents. The amount owing, outstanding amount owing, taking out the 1,000 that was paid, the outstanding amounts owed would also show. So that's it for the payment of fees. Let's go to our SMS model, where we can send SMS to a number of students or the parents of students that the system manages. We can either search for a particular student, we can enter the number in the case that we want to enter numbers, and then we can send to a class. Maybe we want to notify parents of nursery 1 to KG1. The classes will be drafted, the message will be typed there, sent, and the parents of kids who are in these classes will receive the SMS. We also have the fee SMS, where you can select a group of classes and then send a custom SMS to them reminding them of their fees. But before you select what kind of fees SMS you want to send, are you sending to students without outstanding fees or students with overpayment of fees? So usually, owing students, we type the message. Wherever we want the name of the student to appear, we type #name#. Wherever we want the amount of fees owed to appear, we type #fees#. So, hello parent, your word #name# owes an amount of #fees# for the third term. Please make payment before the end of the term. Thank you. Now, the message, the system will go into these classes, pick each student, and then their outstanding fees for the term, send them to their attached contacts. So, in the case that in Nursery 1 we have 25 students, all 25 parents will receive SMS that mentions their kid's name at where we type their #name#, and the outstanding fees for that particular student at where we type the #fees#. So the SMS will be sent to all 25 with customized messages for each and specific information or fees, outstanding fees for each parent. So that's how our fees SMS work. We also have our report section where we generate various reports, be them academic, fees reports, and SMS reports. So with the set academic here, you select a class that you want to generate the reports for. So let's say this class for this term, the various type of reports we want to generate. We have the results slips, subject performance for analysis and rewards, comprehensive exam results, where it picks every student, and then there are marks for each subject, both class score and exam score, summarize results, summary reports, termly student rating, their positioning in the class, and then termly student rating for, in the case we have more than a class for a particular class. Let's say we have a division of class 1, A, B, C. So this one will generate the student rating for all the 3 classes as 1. So it will combine A, B, C into 1, rate them, bring in the first, comparing the averages and bring in the first, whether they are in A or C or B, the first of all the ABC students together, and then ranking them appropriately. The end of year or the yearly student rating or positioning, the cumulative and other reports. So that's how our academic reporting system works. With the fees reports, you can generate all these kind of reports: list of students owing for specific classes, list of students owing for the term, cumulative list of students owing, and other reports, and even the payments made for the day can all be generated. And then to SMS reports for the month, in a year, what message did we send, the details of the messages, who they were sent to will be listed as well. So now, before we end the session on the student information system module, would finally touch on the student portal. Now, the student portal is made for parents to have access to their kids' information. So in their homes, they can still have access to whatever is going on in terms of academics and bill payments, fee payments, fee bills and all. So let's look for each student. They have a username and a password that they can use to access the student portal of that school. So let's go to the student portal for Beta School Online. That is our student portal. So the parents will have to visit beta.ghs.studentportal.info for the information of his or her ward. Every student is provided a username and then as well as a password. So for this student, John Aqua, we have the username and the password, which we are using to log in to his student portal. Now we are into the student portal where we can have information on John Aqua regarding his academics and other things. So let's come to, we have John Aqua, nursery 2, his class, this information, address, and then graphical representation of what is happening when he was in nursery 1A, his averages for the first term, second term, third term, his current class, the first term, the second term. In the case the third term marks are entered, another graph will show, showing his average. Now these are his averages specifically for the first term, for the second term, for the 3 terms in nursery 1. So as he moves on to the different classes or upwards in the classes in the system, all his other academic reports will be generated where so parents can log in and view all his records and even keep them for referencing. Now we can also go back and load the specific marks or the actual marks that a student got in the classes that he's been in for the specific term. So in the class nursery 2A for the second term, let's go to the second term and then load his results. These are the results he got. He was first in a class of 24, and this was his average for each subject. These are the marks that he got and the remarks as well. Let's go to, he was in nursery 2 1A as well. So let's go to first term of when he was in nursery 1A and view his records. So for the first term, he was 4th for these subjects and the corresponding marks of a total 41 students and his average. Let's go to the second term and load his results. He was 8th of 11. This is his average, and then for these subjects and for the various. So the system helps you, the parent, go back as far as your kid was in the school and then get all his records. So there's no means of losing records once they are stored, and once they come back to check, the parent also has access to it, and the parent can sit comfortably in his home, his office, and have access to all this information. Now let's go to the fee payments for the fee payments that has been made so far for this kid. Now fees this term is this amount, fees, special fees. So for all the academic year, the current term, and for the current term, the fees that are corresponding for that, these are the fees that have been set, the total amount, his fee status, whether he's owing or he's not. In the case that he's not, the amount will be a negative to show that he's not owing, and then the status will also change to owed. And so this is a summary of the bill for the current term. Now these are a list of fees payment that has been made in that name. On this date, this amount was paid when he was in nursery 1A for this second term, and then the receipt numbers are generated. Who received it also shows here. So this even gives you a record of all payments that are made in the name of your ward, so that you can even cross check when there's a mistake or something. You can still go back and check that on this date I made this amount of payment for my ward. And then we also have the bills. When the bills are set by the school, you can load the bill for your kid. So there's no need the kid bringing home a paper to show you that this is my fee for the next term. And it also takes out all massage. So this is a summary of the bill for the student. So when he's in nursery 2A for the second term, arrears from last term is 0. Credits from last time is 1,500 and 850. Now his fees for this term, all these things has been set, and so the parent can have access to them and then know the total amounts that are being paid or being carried forward. That's for the students. John. Now the classmates, you can also view the classmates of the ward. Because of security issues, we don't give us much information, and secrecy, integrity do not give us much information on the students. We just give you the name and the contacts. Maybe you want to contact the kid, the classmate's parent, you can just call the number that is there. So for each student, we give you scant information, but the parents of that particular ward would have as much information as possible. Okay, so that's it for the student portal. So that's the student information system module. Now, we will continue with the HRM model. The HRM model helps the school in managing its staff, the teachers, non-teaching staff, as well as teaching, and then other administrative staff. So we still have to provide our username and our password. Before we can enter the HRM system. Now, it is not anyone who has access to this. It is only those who have been given the permission to enter this application who would have access to it. Not every teacher will have access to it because it's quite confidential information that are stored here. So this is an overview of the HRM system. It also has SMS compatibility in terms of sending SMS to notify teachers of estimated salary for the year, active on payroll, the number of people who are in the system that are active on payroll, and the number of employees. And then it gives you a summary statistics of payments or payroll statistics for the total basic salary and other information that is shown here. And this one gives you the figures themselves. Now, before we work with the HR system, we need to set a list of departments, just as we did for the school. So the various departments, our job categories, whether they are called support, teaching, or whatever the school has as a job category. Marital statuses can also be added here. A new one can be added. If there's one, you add and add a code for it. Dependent types. Depending on the school, you would have different dependent types. Now, qualification types, all these can be added. We also have promotion types. Per the school, a new one can be added. For each institution, they have various, so you can add appointment times as well, types. In the case you're appointed, is it permanent, contract, temporary, or any other that the school has can be added. Appraisal types. Is there annual appraisement, appraisal, salary increment, whatever appraisal, as anyone can also be added. Anytime we are setting up, we can add a new type of whatever item that we are adding. Leave, the types of leave we have, we can add a new one. Disciplinary types, a new one can be added. Salary grade and notches or notches. So all these things can be added. Your salary grades and their notches. So for managing director, which is level 1, we have 7 notches. And then the number of years, the number of leave days, all these can be edited. So per institution, you can add whatever you want to add. You can add your list of jobs, and per school, it depends on the school. There can be a class teacher, an IT manager, depending on the kind of school that is being run. And then list of ranks and positions can also be generated. Now let's go to our employees. We add a new employee by filling their basic data. Okay, their surname, IDs, their basic information, SSN numbers, the country where they're coming from, their marital status that has been added, you fetch one. Their staff status, you select one that is appropriate. They are all selecting from something that has been already added. Their workstation, the default school will be picked. But in the case that you added more than one location, it's also load for you to pick. the job information, basic data on them in terms of the job, basic contact information on them. You can upload a picture so that employee can be set up. That's saving it. We can also view a list of our employees. These are our employees of the school with their corresponding few data on them. So let's see John Coffee. This is one of our employees with his basic data and the data that has been added on him. On the dependent side, the number of dependents that are on her, the qualifications that she brought into the job, her grade and all, work experience, promotions. So per each individual employee, the data can be explored. Appraisal that has been made on her appointment that has been made, their types, and so in the case whatever we add on an employee, we can view and edit them. Now let's go to the payroll employees. We can have our basic salaries for each job and for each level, for each notch, the amounts of basic salary, the monthly salary for all the jobs and for all the notches that are created in the system. The allowances that have been added, what kind of allowances that the school allows, the type of allowance, whether it's a fixed rate or a rate on commission. And then when it is starting, when it is ending, you can add a new allowance to get that in motion. Loan deductions, it also handles other deductions, income tax. We also handle income tax in the system. So for the first, based on the Ghana Revenue Authority's codes or rate of charging income taxes, the first 0 to 130 Ghana cedis, there's a 0% rate. So there's from the 130 to the normal rates apply. It can be changed though, but these are the default ones are set up from the GRA. Your SNIT payment, the normal SNIT rates also are here. You can add other contributions if you want to do that, or you can edit the rates that we do have here. Our payroll settings, the current payroll date is set, and then you can edit and save. Then this is the payroll that has been generated once. So we can run and finalize our payrolls from here. These ones has been run before, but you can still print out payroll slips. So all the employees that we do have, we can view their records for each worker. This one is John Imbo, and he's the only active payroll employee. That's why we are having only one payroll generated. So this is a sample of how the payroll will look like. So for each payroll that is generated or is run, it will be as a record for us to either rerun or print our slips. We can also send SMS to all our staff or to staff members. You search for a particular one, or we can enter the phone number. We can also send to a particular salary grade. So that is, or even to a position. You type the message, and wherever you want to enter the first name of the person, you enter it. Wherever you want to enter the last name, you enter it, or even the full name, you can enter the full name as part of the message. You click on send, and it is sent. Now your payslip SMS to, in the case that the pay slips have been generated and we want to send SMSs notifying them of their pay's readiness, we just type the message, and wherever we want their first name, last name, full name to appear, we select them, the pay period for which you are paying them, their gross pay, total deductions, and then their net pay. We click on them, and then they will fill up. So let's say, hello, first name, your total pay or your gross pay is, you select gross pay minus deductions is equal to your net pay. So you just type as a message that will fit your selection so that it will be sent to your employees appropriately. Now we can also generate reports of active. You select a date from to that you want to generate the reports for. So you select, you want to generate report of all those annual leave or employees on annual leave or employees on all these kind of reports can be generated. Redundancy, part-time, part leave, leave without pay, leave with pay, suspension, termination, salary stoppage. You can generate these reports as well. Appraisal list of them or whatever report. A combination of these two give you a comprehensive report. Now, when we come to our payroll reports, we can generate individual pay reports or pay slips. We can generate for the whole school or for our whole institution. We can generate slip for income tax. We can generate these reports to view what is. So custom reports have been made for generation. Bank paying reports. Which bank? The banks, the various banks we are paying our teachers or our staff through. You select and then you generate a report that will show you which staff we are paying a particular kind of fee into. So you can also generate department paying reports, allowances reports, and various other reports, loan deduction, other deduction, payroll, summary reports, and all these reports can be generated using the system. So the system is very comprehensive and handles all our HR system for our HR policies for the school or for whatever institution that is being run, but for now it's a school. So all these statistics can be generated for that particular school. Finally, let's consider our accounting system. The accounting system, you will still have to log in because we are not giving permission to everyone in the school to log in. So in the case you want to, those who have the right to log in, when they provide their username and password, will have access to it. In the case you provide their username and password and you do not have the permission to enter this system, you would not be allowed in by the system. Now the accounting module also handles all our accounting, the accounting of the school. You can view your chart of accounts, handles all the accounting of the school. Now this is a summary. On our dashboard, we give a summary of what is happening. The assets total, liabilities total, income totals, expenses totals. Then for which academic year or for which financial year, for which financial year. So when we come to our accounts, we can view our chart of accounts, all the accounts that are in the system, all the accounts that have been created by us or by the school in the system. You can add a new group account, and a group account is an account that handles more than one type of account or has more than one account. So let's say, so these are the group accounts that are in the system. We can create a new one by clicking on either of these, add a group account, add a ledger account. And we know that we have a group account bank that has more than an account in it, the EcoBank, GCB Bank. And then there are closing and opening balances as well from here. So the cash also is also a group account which has more than one ledger account. And then for all the accounts that we've created, those that are group and the ledgers that are in the group accounts, they will also show and bring out their closing and opening balances as well. We can also view our group accounts separately, or our group accounts and their min and maximum code. So a group account will always fall within, a group account that is an asset will always fall within this code. Liabilities will also fall within this code, so that there's no conflict. Then our ledgers, we also load our ledgers and the parent or group account, they coming from their opening and closing balances. So all our ledgers that has been created will also show here. Now the entries can be made as receipt entries. So when we receive payments, we can make entries. When we also make payments, we can make payments by adding a payment here. We can also make control entries, journal entries, by coming to add a journal entry. That's for the entries. Our petty expenditure, you can make petty expenditure. You add a petty expenditure, and then the date, the expense account, the expense amount, the description received by in the comment, you create the entry or the record. The accounting system also generates various accounting reports, balance sheets, and profit and loss statement accounts, or profit and loss statements, trial balances, ledger statements, general reports for the accounting. Now, this is also our payment and income or receipt settings. We set which accounts are for payment, which accounts are for receipts. Specify the main accounts for expense, and then specify the main accounts for payment, so that when we are making entries, we can the accounts for payments will load when a payment is being made. The accounts for entries or receipts, the accounts for receipts will only load when receipts are being made, and the accounts for expenses will only load when we are making petty expenditure or expenses in the system. So these are some of the settings that need to be made, so that we also specify our minimum balance for the account. It can be increased by the school's policy. It can be increased by the school's policy. So that is the basic overview. It's a short demonstration. A detail will be given when the school wants us to do that for them. So thank you for your time, and we hope that you call us, you email us, you contact us in any way, any form, so that we can implement the system to help your school. Thank you very much for your time with AppNet Consults.